to this talk. It's my pleasure to be here with you. Of course, I cannot see all of you, but I'm happy to be here today. So as you see, the title of my talk is Entrepreneurship and Innovation for Impact. So for the next 1.5 hours, I will talk about entrepreneurship and the relationship between entrepreneurship and innovation, and then how we can have more impactful innovation, and why nowadays impact is more important just having value. So, and then I explain what does it mean, impact, what does impact mean? Okay, so first of all, I want to introduce myself. I'm Negin Salimi, assistant professor at Wageningen University and Research from the Netherlands. I got my PhD in 2014 from TU Eindhoven University, another technical university in the Netherlands. I'm originally from Iran, and after my PhD, I was postdoc at TU Delft, another technical university in the Netherlands, and also Leiden University. And then since January 2020, I joined a business management and organization group in Wageningen as an assistant professor. So as you see, that I'm working on mainly on collaboration and entrepreneurship decisions. So I'm studying how entrepreneurs can make more informed and structured decisions, especially in the context of wicked problem. That's most of sustainability problems are categorized as a wicked. So, and also I'm working on and help entrepreneurs to integrate sustainability in their entrepreneurship journey. So how I help them to have more sustainable business model. Yeah, that's about me. Of course, if you have any other question, you can write it down in the chat so I can reflect on them later. So first, yeah, what is entrepreneurship? So probably you heard a lot about entrepreneurship nowadays and or entrepreneurs. So yeah, there is not any universal definition for entrepreneurship, unfortunately, but there are some criteria or some characteristics that we assign to entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurs normally look for opportunities. So the process of discovering, yes, discovering an evaluation of the situation and exploitation of opportunities, actually, this is what we call it as entrepreneurship. And who do this? Some individuals do that we call them as entrepreneurs. But what the entrepreneurs really do, they really create new things, new organizations. So they do some activities that is for the first time, okay? But maybe you have questioned that maybe we have an idea, but it is not new, but we use it in the new context. So still, we can consider it as a kind of entrepreneurship, but it's different. So maybe you heard about entrepreneur and intrapreneur. So these two concepts, both try to identify opportunities. They develop new ideas and bringing them to the market, but there is a difference between them. Entrepreneurs operate independently, so they have to take all the risk and try to find all resources, financial resources for their business. But entrepreneurs innovate within the structure of an existing organization. So it means that they can share the risk, and uh, this is more, this is less stressful in compared to entrepreneurship. So, for example, I put here two simple example. Like Sarah starts her own sustainable fashion brand, and in compare to John, an employee at a large clothing company, develops a new eco-friendly product line. So still it is an innovation, but we have this innovation in an existing company. And in between, if you have any question, you can, I don't know if it's possible to turn on your microphone so you can ask it, or you can put it in the chat. So now, probably you heard entrepreneurship and innovation together a lot. And why? Because innovation is the core of entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship is identifying new opportunities, creating value, and solving problems. But we have to commercialize, or we have to follow a process of turning new ideas into practical, into the market. Otherwise, we are not succeed. So through innovation, we can do this. So entrepreneurs drive innovation. So entrepreneurs are the key drivers of that. Let me show you this slide. So for the entrepreneurship, we have some antecedents. So we have to start from somewhere. And then entrepreneurship, it's a process that I will explain later. Then it has an outcome that we call it consequences. So ideation is the antecedent of entrepreneurship, and the outcome is innovation. So you have to, as an entrepreneur, you have to find new idea. How? You have to understand a problem. If there is a problem somewhere, for example, a lot of problems in sustainability, so you have to think about some ideas to solve that problem. So entrepreneurship starts with that. And the outcome of using that solution will be innovation. I don't know you saw this framework, but I really like this framework. So of course, there are many categories of innovation, but here I put this one. So here you see that we have in the axis, we have technology newness. So it means that how much our technology is new. And for example, it can be radical, for example. So radical innovation acts as a game changer. But we can have also incremental innovation. So like they are gradual or continuous improvements on existing products and services. So let me just bring a simple example of incremental innovation. So iPhone series. So you see that they are just continuously improving each series together. So but be careful that for the first time when we had a smartphone, that was not incremental innovation. So I think you agree with me. That innovation, when we had for the first time a smartphone in the market, that was a radical innovation. But nowadays, iPhone series, for example, can be considered as incremental innovation. And we have another, let me just, because I don't see the full, oh, what did I do? Okay, now now it's better. So, and the other in the y-axis, you see impact on the market. So what does it mean, impact on the market? So we also categorize innovation based on a market, the impact that makes on the market. In fact, we mean by impact on the market, we mean the competition dynamics, for example, in the market. If our innovation has a high impact on the competition dynamic, so we consider it as a high impact innovation. So, or in other words, I can say that the impact on market can be low and thus affecting just the cooperation itself rather than the market that the cooperation acts within. So let me, okay, so now we have disruptive innovation. So this type of innovation, it's related to technology or new business model that disrupt the existing market. One of the best example of that, it's Netflix. So I don't know if you remember about, for example, TV and DVD rental markets, that previously that was really dominant. But when we had Netflix completely disrupt the previous TV and DVD market. So the technology newness is high, and also the impact on the market also is high. And then about radical innovation, like electric vehicles. Yes, the technology newness is high, but the impact on the market is low. Why? Because, yeah, of course, we have electric vehicles, but still we have traditional car market. So it seems we have both of them. So it's not like disrupting or disrupt the previous market. No, still we have both markets, traditional one and also electric vehicles. And finally, we have sustaining innovation that has low technology newness, but impact on the market is high. So like, for example, Google search algorithm updates. So Google regularly updates its search algorithm to improve the accuracy or also the speed of search results. So it is a kind of sustaining, so a significant improvement on a product that aims to sustain the position in an existing market. So as an entrepreneur, what we really want to achieve, which type of innovation we have to focus. We really appreciate to focus more on disruptive and radical innovation, but still it's really dependent to the entrepreneurial ecosystem, the situation, the context. Maybe we have an innovation in the, for example, geographical situation. It can consider as a, I don't know, incremental, for example, innovation, but in a new context, we can consider it as radical. So now, in order to have a successful innovation, we have to follow an approach that we call it design thinking. So what does it mean? Yes, it is, this is the definition. It is a nonlinear, iterative, and human-centered approach to dealing with problems in many professions. I can tell you, you can use it in every context, even in your daily life. And I have a nice example that later I will show you. So it is a kind of mindset. So when you want to think about something, you start from a problem. When you have a problem, first you have to understand the problem. You have to collect information, relevant information as much as possible. How? You can go and talk with for example, the potential customers, because you have to define the problem. So now you are in the problem space. So the first part of this diagram. And then when you understand the problem, you have to think about solutions, how you can solve that problem. So you have to brainstorming. You have to, so we have ideation session, okay? And then you cannot follow all the ideas. Yes, you have to select which one is, for example, which idea has higher chance of success. So then you have to test and do prototyping. How you can, for example, talk with some, show the simple version of your product, your idea to a customer and get their feedbacks. So now you are in the solution space. And as you see here, in each steps, we have some loops. So feedback has a critical role here, because if you, for example, in the prototyping part, there is a problem, you have to think maybe the ideation phase needs a revision, or you define the problem not correctly. So feedback has an important role. Okay, so as I mentioned, designing thinking is non-linear process. So start with empathy. First, you have to go and talk with the customer to see what is their problem. And then you have to define it and then think about some possible solution by ideation, prototyping, and then testing. So as you see, also we have feedback loops. But what are the main feature of design thinking? So this is something that if you want to solve a real problem, especially nowadays with the sustainability challenging, and also to satisfy sustainable development goals that later I will explain for you, we need to use design thinking. But what features of design thinking make it so critical? Here I just put 4 of them. It is agile because you use because it is irritative and you use feedback loop. So whenever something happens, when you find a problem, you can go back and just revise the process. It is human-centered. You think about the problem and needs of your customer. It tries to develop solutions that are deeply impactful and long-lasting. And finally, it is actually a mindset change. Another question. So why is it described as a mindset change? Of course, design thinking, it is a set of tools and techniques that you can use it. But at the end, this is something that happens in your mind, that how you face with complex and dynamic challenges. Okay. So I have a short video. Oops. Yes, I have a short video about design thinking, so I think it's nice to just watch it together. Let me, I don't know where. How can I skip this? Sorry. I don't know how I can skip the advertisement. This is YouTube. Yes.
There is no sound. Maybe you can unmute on YouTube. I'll check the sound settings. There is no sound on the video, coming from the video.
So, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, I hope you liked the video. So now I want you to think about a time when you applied the design thinking approach to solve a real problem. It can be a personal challenge, project at your work. So I want to see if you use empathy, ideation, just for example, there was a problem in your family or in your school, and you try to find a solution for that. And I will be happy if someone has an idea and wants to share with us.
Yeah, if you want to contribute, you can raise your hands that we can select you and unmute. You're free to unmute.
Yes, but let me. I don't know. I cannot see the whole. Uh,
Oh,
the.
I'll look into it. Maybe you can have one person
Okay,
contribute.
so that's fine. So you can select one. Okay.
Yeah. Um,
So maybe it's a bit difficult for the students. Just I want to share one idea that I had in my personal life. So then it is also a good opportunity for the students to think, and after that they can share their opinion. So here you look at you are seeing the some photos of iPad stand holding. Actually, 3 years ago, I I made this stand holding for my son. So he was looking for something. Of course, in the internet, you can simply find one and buy it. Like, for example, yeah, and they are so expensive, some of them no. But I just okay. I talked with him. What do you want exactly? So he said that just I want something to put my iPad there. So then I looked at our storage. So we had some wood, and then with my husband I designed it, and then we made it, and it's now for more than 2 years. He's using this, and it works, and we painted some part of that, and it was fun. And it is one of the simple example. And I'm sure that now you can think about some ideas. And now, if you want, you can share it with us. We don't have any volunteer here.
yes,
Yes, FAMSA.
Um, Hello, my name is Ashley Kamau from Kenya Methodist University. One way I think design thinking is being employed, it's not an idea, but it's something I've seen. For example, in our country, charcoal is the main source of fuel in many homes, and it's a big cause of climate change because of deforestation. And I saw one innovative project where the students came up with an energy efficient stove to mainly reduce the use of charcoal, hence promote more forests being available. I think that's an example. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, that was interesting. I don't know it is an ongoing project or it's done, but that was interesting. So I will continue. So design thinking starts with what? With messy things, because first in the beginning you have many information with many uncertainties, but after that, when you collect data information, when you talk with your potential customers, then most of the things become clear. So, but yeah, in this situation nowadays, for example, what solution do an entrepreneur look for? Because resources are limited, time is limited, so you cannot focus on every ideas that you have. No, you have to select them. But based on what? Of course, there are many criteria to select the best solution, but at least you have to select the solution that satisfy these three criteria that I want to tell you. So for solving complex problems, so you have to find radically new ideas which has desirability. So there are some customers, they want to buy or use your product. So you have to be careful about that. And you need to survive as a business. So you have to make a profit. So you have to check if your idea or your solution is economically viable. And finally, if you need any technologies for your solution, so you have to check if it is technically feasible, if there is a required technology available. So here I have an example, simple example about sustainable packaging solution. So I'm sure everyone knows about that. So if we have a idea like this, sustainable packaging solution. So first we have to look if this idea or this solution has a desirability. Yes. If I want to say, I can say yes, because nowadays consumers are more aware about sustainability and eco-friendly and sustainable products. So they really take care of sustainability. And then about profitability. Yes, because nowadays there are more awareness among people, so there is more demand for this type of products. And of course, maybe in the beginning, the cost becomes high because because of the type of material, eco-friendly materials that we want to use. But over time, the cost decreases. So we can think about, hey, maybe after, for example, 5 years, we can have profit and we can survive. And then finally, about feasibility. So you know that in material science, we have a lot of progress. So then we have a good packaging technology. So it seems that it is also technically feasible. These three criteria are so critical, and you have to think about that. So, but here I have a question for you. Design thinking is a means to solve problems, but what type of problem is good for that? So here I put some example like mathematical problems. No, it's not useful for that. It's not, for example, help the industry to make their standard products a little faster, smaller, or shinier than before. Or even it is not an approach to help you to solve a rubric cube. So then we have wicked problem. So design thinking is suitable for wicked problem. But what does it mean? Wicked problem is a problem that has many factors involved that. They have interaction with each other. There are many stakeholders involved, with most of the time they have conflict of interest. So you have to understand all the stakeholders that are relevant in the problem, and you have to find innovative approach to find the solution for that. So design thinking is work here for the wicked problem or ill-defined, unknown issues. So like, okay, here how we can call a problem as a wicked problem if at least 5 of the following characteristics are in the problem. Like, for example, here you see that problems are never completely solved. Every problem is unique. There is no clear problem definition. So if your problem has at least 5 of these characteristics, so you can categorize your problem as a wicked problem. So here it's clear that why we don't consider a technical problem like how to improve a solar panel efficiency by 5%, not as a wicked problem, but how to provide affordable and reliable electricity to rural communities in Africa is definitely a wicked problem. Okay, so there are many types of wicked problem based on how many stakeholders are involved in the problem and if the problem and solution is clear or not. So here you see that there are many types. So when we go, for example, from this in the x-axis, if the stakeholders are more and they have conflict interest, so we have more wicked problem. So I think, yeah, I already explained the example. So yeah, tame problem is like, for example, in a school. So you have some for example, if you have assignment, write a essay. So it's a completely tame problem. You know the limitation of word style that you have to use. So it is not challenging. But if you want to run a country, so it is really wicked problem because there are many stakeholders involved, and maybe one solution, one idea can be a solution for one stakeholder, but for others, it's not. So it is really challenging. Okay, so I think you agree with me if we call all social and cultural problems as wicked. So global issues such as poverty, environmental degradation, or climate change, accessing to clean drinking water, they are all categorized as a wicked problem. Yeah, you don't know start from where. So here I have a case study, solar sister in Africa. So probably many of you heard about that. So it is a Solar Sister empowers women in rural Africa by training them as entrepreneurs to distribute solar-powered lamps and energy solutions. So it is, I really, when I looked at the website, I amazed by what they are doing there. So that was really interesting, especially it is run by women, so it is more exciting. So later you can go and read more about this entrepreneur. Okay, so now about sustainable development goals. Just let me check the time. Okay, so still we have time. So probably you heard about sustainable development goals. So we have 17 goals that set by United Nations, such as poverty, inequality, climate, and the idea is to reach them by 2030. I'm not so optimistic about that. Still a lot of things we have to do, but at least this is the goal, okay? But it is really challenging. And now I want to just tell you or highlight 2 of them. Yeah, of course, they are complex, But one of the things that I have a problem with them, it's about the interdependency among some of these goals and conflicting priorities. So it is really difficult, especially in the policy level and the country level. So from where we have to start? What are the priorities? So there are many things involved. So it is really wicked problem. For example, and some of them has overlap. So here, for example, overlap and related to overlap and interconnectedness of goals. For example, Sustainable Development Goal 8, it's about promoting economic growth. But it has conflict with sustainability goals. Why? Because when you want to have a growth in your economy, it means that you need to have more jobs, you need to create jobs. So then it leads to higher carbon emissions that harms climate action, which is the goal of 13. So, you see, there are some conflicts among these goals. And also cause and effect complexity. So here for example, for ending poverty, we need better education. Yeah, so Sustainable Development Goal 1 and 4 are aligned, but it means that we need more job again. So then it is harm for the environment. So which should come first, reducing poverty or protecting the planet? So it is really challenging and it's not easy question. Yeah, so we call it as a wicked problem. So, and here I have an example about wind turbine as a solution for sustainability. So in the Netherlands, we have many wind turbines. So, and it is introduced as a cheapest form of clean and renewable energy. Okay, that's fine. And if you look at the three main criteria that I mentioned previously, yes, they also has all three features of solution that an entrepreneur look for. But there is a problem I want to tell you. Yeah, there are a variety of environmental impacts associated with wind turbine, like, for example, making noises, visual deforestation, and land erosion. And also, it has a negative impact on the birds and bats. And I have a clear example for you in the Netherlands. So let me just skip this one because I already talked about that. Yes, here in 2006, in the province of Groningen, many people had complained about noise that are made by the big wind turbines, and that was really strange. So, okay, we know that it is a sustainable solution, but people was not happy about that. There was a problem. So, if we look at the design thinking approach, so we found that the researcher found that, okay, in the model, they just consider the low wind turbines, not in their model, they didn't consider the problems of tall wind turbines. So, and they didn't go and talk with the communities, the people that live in the Groningen. So that is the importance of approach following design thinking. So you have to use feedback again to see what is the problem. Of course, later they solve the problem, but here it is an example that even if you have your product and you enter it to the market, still you need to get feedback from the customers and try to adopt your product or your solution with them. So two important approach is really important to solve a wicked problem. First is using system thinking and also combining with an agile methodology. So I already explained about system thinking. System thinking means that you have to understand what are the components of the problems, what are the relationship and interaction between these components. So you have to think about interrelationship, relationship patterns and dynamics among these components. And then also agile methodology by following the iterative approach of design thinking. So you have to be agile and adopt your product, your idea with any changes in the market or the needs of your customer. So yeah, here, so for addressing complex challenges, we need systemic solutions. So yeah, I already explained about this, but in the right right of the slide, here I want to say that, okay, we need to, for solving a complex problem, we need to focus on root causes versus symptoms. So you have to understand root causes, because treating symptoms is not enough. So I have an example here for you. For example, in the African sustainability context, you have a deforestation and land degradation problem. So the symptom is increasing desertification and loss of agricultural productivity. So this is symptom. And can you think about root causes for this problem? It can be, for example, high dependency on wood for cooking fuel due to lack of affordable alternatives, or expanding farmland because of population growth. But if we just plant more trees, it seems that we just treat the symptoms. We didn't go in depth to the problem, but we have to address the root causes. For example, promoting clean energy alternatives like solar cook stoves to reduce reliance on firewood. So these are the root causes. And the right chart, yeah, in this slide actually shows the different levels of innovation needed for solving problems. So you see in the left below a part of the chart, you see core innovation. So it's just making a small improvements to existing products or services, but it is not something that we need for solving a wicked problem or complex problem. We really need a transformational innovation that create entirely new solution or approaches, or systematic innovation that radically transform a system to address root causes. Okay, so here, yeah, I think after this slide, we can have a short break, but yeah. So in the left side of this slide, you see that there are many factors that an organization worked, or for example, like shareholders, managers, employees, customers, government, and community. But here, you see that there is it is very neat, and it seems that the boundary is really clear, but in the reality, it's like the right side. So it means that all the factors are have a relationship together, and it's not just predictable. So you have to go and find, go in depth to the problem and see and study the dynamics among these factors. So in conclusion, a practical approach to solving complex problems can start from defining the problem, as we mentioned, engaging stakeholders. So you have to talk with different stakeholders and understand their needs, prototyping and validation, and then scale systematically. So you have to expand by addressing structural barriers and leveraging partnerships. So I said that that was my final slide before the presentation, but this is just one of my posts that I think 1 month ago I put it in the LinkedIn because, you know, I'm worried about the future, because I think most of the research that nowadays we are doing is just descriptive. Just we describe what is happening, but it's enough. We have to act and be proactive. So we have to prescribe solutions and provide reliable and informed guidance to bring sustainability from distance ideal to practical. So it is, here you see one of my recent publications, Sustainability, does it contribute to the survival of entrepreneurship? Because many entrepreneurs have afraid to follow the sustainability rules or principles. So here I studied that, hey, entrepreneurs, you can you can survive, and at the same time you can be sustainable. So if you want, you can go and read this paper. I think it is interesting, and it's good to make awareness among the entrepreneurs that you can follow a sustainability rule. So still I have a lot. So I don't know. Can I continue, or you prefer to have a short break?
We are easy with any. Maybe one of the students can suggest if they are okay with a break or a 5 minutes break, or we'll continue.
So it's better to continue?
A break of 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay. Just we come back yeah, in 5 minutes. Okay.
Can question be asked during this period?
So we have
Sorry for that. You're muted.
so
As we
yes.
have the 5 minutes break, we can reflect on what Dr. Negin has been sharing the insights on, and yeah, also drop your questions on the chat so that we can look at them at the end of the lecture. Yeah.
So shall we start again? Yes?
Yeah, I think the 5 minutes are over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Carlos agrees.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome back. So, yeah. One thing that now I want to focus is the translating our ideas into measurable outcomes. So, one of the factors, may I ask everyone to mute themselves? Yes, thank you so much. So, it's value to society. So, how our solution make value? So, now we go to the part that I really like to discuss about that. It is about what is knowledge valorization. So probably you heard about that. So, okay, you know, as a university, for example, I'm working in the university. So I create value from the knowledge. So how? So when I write a paper, it is a way that I translate my knowledge into competitive, or so it can be products, for example, or services, or even entrepreneurial activity. So when you have an idea, so with, for example, innovation or entrepreneurship, you can valorize it. So unlocking the potential of knowledge by translating academic or scientific knowledge into practical application that create economic, social, or cultural value. But now I want to ask you to think further, not just about value, but also about societal impact. So how we can translate value to the impact. So let's start with understanding what is value. So value is what you offer. It can be the benefits, solution, or outcomes of your research, innovation. So what your stakeholder want or need, it's value. So if you have a business model, you have to provide a value. Can be societal, can be cultural, economical. And here I mentioned that can be tangible, like patents, prototypes, data, or funding access, or intangible, like reputation, credibility, partnership, all can be value. But when we have impact, when we really use the value of the solution or the idea you have. So impact is the real world change or benefit that happen when your value is applied. So impact is directly has relationship with change. If someone use the value that you provide and any changes happen, it means that what you offer has impact. So, example, developing AI software that reduces costs for hospitals by analyzing patient data more efficiently provides value to healthcare providers. Yes, this is just value. But when the AI software improves patient health outcomes by, for example, enabling better care decision, it generates impact because something changed. It can be in a good way or negative way. So in short, value is what you create, and impact is what happens when that value is realized or utilized effectively. Changes can be cultural, economical, industrial, ecological, or societal. So nowadays, everybody looks to the impact of your idea. They ask you, okay, if you develop, for example, this solution or idea, what will be the impact of that in 5 years, for example, from now? So here I want to introduce theory of change, because impact, as I mentioned, is related to change. So theory of change is a framework used to map out how your actions lead to desired outcomes and societal impacts. So you have to plan for impact. You have to link your activities to the changes you want to see. So how you can create the theory of change? By identifying the desired long-term changes, and then works back from these to identify all conditions that must be in place for the goals to happen. And of course, in between, you have assumptions. So here, this diagram shows how theory of change works. So first, we start from the desired impact. Please see the below of the diagram that I'm now on the yellow row. So first, we have to define the long-term change that we want to achieve, for example, reducing carbon emissions. I have an example here, for example, here, sustainable water management in Africa, for example. So it focuses on addressing water scarcity and ensuring long-term water security. So for the first step, we have to start with the desired impact. That can be, for example, ensure sustainable access to clean water for rural communities in sub-Sahara Africa, for example, to reduce waterborne disease and improving livelihoods. And then we have to identify outcomes. You can think about short-term outcomes, medium-term, or long-term outcomes. Short-term income, for example, increasing awareness and adoption of water conservation and purification methods, for example. Or long-term outcome can be develop resilient water system that sustain communities, even in droughts. Then you have to plan which activities you need to have for reaching that outcomes, like train local communities on water purification techniques, or introduce affordable rainwater harvesting systems. And then inputs can be, for example, funding from NGOs or government agencies, collaboration with local water experts and engineers. And of course, in between, we have some assumptions. For example, if you are lucky, you can, or optimistic, you can have this assumption. Communities will be willing to adopt and maintain the new water solutions. Policymakers will help you, support you to implement water governance strategies, for example. And of course, monitoring and evaluation is always a key step. So, and you have to track all of these goals that you have. So the most important thing is you have to think about what will be your goal and what you want to change. Here, there is an example of theory of change, but because of the time limitation, I don't want to show it to you now. Oh, sorry. So let me just, yes, I go to here. Okay, so sustainable business model, how we can, okay, every firm, every enterprise that has a business model. But nowadays, having sustainable business model is very challenging. But what does it mean? The traditional business, what is business model first? If you want to explain how your business works, so you can use business model, yes? And business model, Canvas has three main parts. The first one is value proposition. So you have to show that what will be your value Is it product? Is it service? And also to whom? Who will be your potential customers? And then the second part is value creation and delivery. How you want to create that value? What are the activities? What are the resources that you want to use? What are the potential suppliers or partners? So how is value provided? And the final part is value capture. So of course, for doing all these activities and getting that resources, you need money. How does the company make money and capture other forms of value? Okay, so this is the main three parts of a traditional business model. Okay, oops, what's happening? Yes, and this is the business model canvas. If you want to run your company, if you want to, for example, pitch your idea, your solution in front of, for example, investors to attract their attention to invest in your company, you need to show them this business model canvas. At least you have to think about these items. So in general, this canvas has 9 parts that you have to fill in. So, for example, you should know about key partners, key activities, customer relationship, how you want to keep your relationship with your customer. Is it direct or indirect? Who are your customers, for example? And what are the key resources, cost structure, and revenue streams? But a question. I think that if we have one idea, for example, do you think that we can have different business model for one idea, for one technology, for example, and how? And I really appreciate if one of you just share his or her opinion with us. So can we have different business model for one idea, and how? Yes, Maureen, sorry, my pronunciation, maybe it's not good. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you. I think that it's possible to have different business models based on the fact that our reasoning will be different and our approach we might differ in the way we work out our things, and at the end we might be having the same goal or different, but the way we walk to that goal might be different from one person to the other.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, it's correct. So the same technology product or service can have numerous business model. Why? Because, for example, you can approach different, for example, customer segment. Yeah, or for example, the way you want different, you approach different suppliers than, for example, the other one. So every part of business model canvas can make a new business model. Or even, yeah, for example, for researcher, governments. So who are your stakeholders? So this makes a new business model. So yeah, here, this is what I explained for you. But here I put the business model canvas of Tesla. So here you see, I just found it in the internet, so you can easily find it. But here, for example, I want to say that one of the main things that makes Tesla different from other companies, company, is that they have direct sales. So the channel that they use to have relationship with customer is direct sales. But here, for example, you see the business model canvas for BMW. So the channels is not actually direct. So they have online rental booking. And so this is one of the difference between these two businesses. Not businesses, actually, these two companies. So, but despite all differences that I already mentioned, they have one thing in common. All business models have one thing in common. What is it? This is assumption. So, in the beginning, everything that you put in your business model canvas is just based on assumption, based on hypothesis about, okay, you can think and about key partners. So everything is based on assumptions. But how we can be sure that our assumption is correct or not, how we have to validate our assumptions, you have to go outside of the building. So Steve Blank is a very famous entrepreneur, and he has a very good book. And he says that there are no facts inside the building. So get the hell out and talk to customers, because everything that you put on the paper is just on the paper, and it's really nice and ideal. But you have to go outside and talk and get information, do empathy. You remember about design thinking I told you? So I think Mike Tyson, everyone knows him. So he says that he has a famous quote: everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And here I put the main reasons of startup fail. So no market need. How? Because they didn't go and talk with the potential customer, or user unfriendly product. So they didn't even check with their potential customer if their product is friendly or not, and they simply ignore customers. So you have to go outside the building to validate your assumptions. But the next step, yes, validate and test your assumption. With whom? With potential users. But there is, why you have to validate? Because of course you want to scale up your business. You want to increase the chance of your success. Okay, but maybe it is your question that from where I have to start. There are many assumptions in my business model. I have to select which one. I have to go first, validate which one. It's different. So it is, we don't have a one recipe for every businesses, but we advise entrepreneurs to validate different fits that you see in this pyramid. And we advise to first start from the lowest part of this pyramid. For example, for market attractiveness, you have to check if you identify a large or growing market. You have to validate customer problem fit. Did you identify a customer who has a problem worth solving? So you have to prioritize and see, based on the context and based on the idea or solution or the problem, which one you need to go first to check. But there are different types of validation you have to do. But today I want to just focus on two different methods: lean startup to find product market fit, and customer development to find customer problem fit. Okay, I don't know. Okay, it's about a lean startup. It is a methodology that you can validate your ideas based on customer reaction to MVP. What is MVP? MVP is the minimum viable product. So lean startup is based on build, measure, learn. What does it mean? So it means that when you have an idea, when it's really close to transfer your idea or your product, your service to the market, first you have to build the minimum viable version of your product and just get it to the customer. check with him or her and just get feedback from them. And based on the feedback and the data you collected, you have to see if everything is correct or you have to adapt. And it is based on the design thinking approach. So it's based on build the minimum viable product, measure it, go and share it with the potential customer and learn about that if you need to change or adapt any parts. Yeah, and you can imagine that it can happen that, for example, here you see that if you follow the red line, you see that, for example, the planned product is here, but when you follow this approach, then at the end, the actual product is here because, okay, you have to learn each time. For example, if you want to stay in the current line, if everything is correct, or you have a pivot to another line. Okay, but honestly, lean startup methodology is not an easy or a straightforward methodology. Yeah, because as I mentioned, we don't know which assumption we have to start, but also it is really difficult to define what is minimum viable product and what is the difference between minimum viable product and prototype. But based on the literature that I studied, I found that prototype is a just visual representation of, for example, what it's in your time. So prototype is a step before minimum viable product. Minimum viable product is more closer to the real customers and the market. But prototype is something that when you have something, you just check it with the team members firm. So internally you check it. So it is, for example, like if you want to design a task management app, so just maybe you design software to visualize it, the layout or buttons. So just internally you want to uh, test it. But minimum viable product happens after prototype, and it is functional version of the product. So for example, the team develops a basic version of the task management app with essential features like task creation, editing, and deletion. Okay, so I explain about business model, the traditional one, that the aim is to making more money, more profit. But nowadays with sustainability, we have business model for sustainability. It means that not only we have to uh, think about having more profit, because we at the end we have to survive. Even the social enterprises needs to have to think about money, but also in business model for sustainability, the goal is to have also impact for the environment and society. How? Through changes in the way the organization and its value network create, deliver, and capture value. So here, not only we, in the business model for sustainability, we think about people, we think about planet, we think about profit. So the intersection between these three circle is sustainability. It's easy. So I showed you the business model canvas, but here we have 3-layered business model canvas if we want to consider for our business. It's really challenging to fill in all these 3 layers, honestly. In practice, it's really difficult. So as I mentioned, the first layer is about making money. The second one is about have a positive impact on the environment. And the third one is social part, that it means that we need to think about social impact of our company, for example, think about our worker rights or overall societal benefits. Of course, there are some advantages. So it shows this three-layered business model canvas shows us a comprehensive picture of our business, but there are some disadvantages. Here in this table, I put advantages and disadvantages. Later, you can read them. But now I want to focus on one of the main disadvantages of this canvas. First is horizontal coherence and vertical coherence. So, if I start from horizontal coherence, so as I mentioned, each layer has a different aim. So sometimes the aims, the goals has conflict with each other. For example, if we want to have more money, so more money, then yeah, then it means that we have to use, for example, cheaper materials. Then cheaper material is not useful for the environment. So then how we can satisfy the goals in the environmental layer? And when we want to decrease the cost in order to have more profit, so it means that maybe we can we ignore our employees or our workers. So again, it has a conflict with the social layer. So it is really challenging to have a business model that satisfy all three goals at the same time. And about vertical coherence, so in vertical coherence, we have to consider each component in each layer. So for example, if you focus on the renewal model, if we, for example, just produce a product for low income people, customers, so we are not really social, because then it means that we ignore the high income people, so or vice versa. So it is really challenging, but this is an ideal business model canvas that everybody nowadays needs to think about that. Okay, so let me just see the time. Yeah, it's we have 8 minutes, and this is the story of four enterprises pioneering innovative business models to foster a circular economy and create a cleaner, sustainable environmental in Uganda and South Africa. So shall we watch it together? Just I'm asking from the organizing supporter.
Yes, yeah,
Is
yeah.
it fine? Okay.
Yeah.
So that is my final slide. And then, okay, just first watch it. Mm, so, uh, I will.
The sound is not quite clear. Maybe later on, once they have the slides, they can look at them and watch the video well.
I'm sorry, just I received some message from some of you that you don't have, you cannot hear it. Am I right? Or
Yes, we are not getting any.
oh, really? That's strange because I hear the I don't know what's the problem, but can I try it again? And what about now?
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Now it's okay?
Yeah, maybe you can continue so that you
Yes.
can.
Not yet. No, sounds good.
Still not audible.
We cannot hear.
Really, you cannot hear it.
Yeah. Would you be able to copy the link to the chat? Then maybe people can open from where they sit.
Yes. One moment, please.
Or if it's possible, you can share the slides with us so that the students can also look at them after the session.
Yeah, that's fine. I can share my slides later, so then you can have them. Okay, so now yeah, this is my final slide. Let me no, not this one. Sorry. Yes, this one. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts about sustainability and impact, especially in the field of entrepreneurship. Of course, you are very welcome. If you have any question, you can send me an email. This is my email, negin.salimi@wur.nl. So let me stop my stop sharing, then maybe I can see you and say goodbye. I don't know, or if there is any question before.
Yeah, if you have a question, you can raise your hand. Yeah, it was a very insightful session. Thank you, Dr. Negin Salimi, for an inspiring session. Today we explored the core role of innovation in entrepreneurship, from ideation to different innovation types. We also examined the design thinking, system thinking, and the agile methodologies as tools to tackle the wicked problems like the complexity, interdependence, and uncertainty. Yeah, as we move forward, let's apply these insights to create sustainable solution and drive meaningful change. Once again, thank you, Dr. Negin Salimi, and thank you all for the engagement. Let's keep innovating.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I don't know if one of our facilitator has anything else to add before we conclude. Maybe from Dr. John Mushiri.
I think, thank you very much. I think mine is to appreciate the presentation that you've had from Dr. Negin, and that's very informative and educative in terms of how you can use your entrepreneur skills to focus on sustainability, and how you can define, of course, the needs and create solutions. That's very, very encouraging. I think that approach, the entrepreneurial approach, is critical for us, even as we continue to think about sustainability. even in the very diverse fields that we come from. So I definitely, on behalf of my core team members, the people we are working on this subject of climate change and sustainability, I do want to take this opportunity to acknowledge that we have learned a lot this evening. For those who have come to participate today, thank you. I can see we are not 100% present. Please encourage your friends also in your various institutions to participate more in these lectures. You can see how informative they are, and you learn a lot more. It's not just the focus about climate change as we know it, but there's much more to understand how we can maintain a sustainable environment in terms of resources, and also in terms of how we work about our various disciplines. Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you.